everyone, welcome back to Tame Your Space. I'm your host Sandy Talbot, and in today's episode I'm going to share a little bit of my story on my journey to becoming a podcaster and a entrepreneur for Tame Your Space. So growing up, I grew up in a cluttered home. It wasn't dirty, it was just messy and cluttered. Most of the clutter was my parents' hobbies. My dad was a Jim Beam collector and a musician, played guitar. My mum was a crafter. She sewed, she knitted, she cooked, she baked. She could do anything that, she tried, she could do. She was a very talented lady. So with all those things came stuff, and living in a small 3-bedroom home in a little town in the South Island, there wasn't a lot of storage space or any really storage at all. So I never had friends over. I just couldn't let my friends see the messy house that I lived in. I was very embarrassed, and that kind of continued right through my teens. I wouldn't let anybody really come to the house because I was scared of being judged, and that's really continued right through my whole adulthood, and it still does today. When I got married and started a family, I was never organized. I was tidy, but I kind of did the hidden stuff. So, my house looked neat and tidy, but there was cupboards and things that were a mess, and it was behind closed doors, so you couldn't see it. I also would clean for hours if I knew I had family or friends or anybody visiting me, because I didn't want to be judged by my home. And little did they know that I spent hours cleaning. And I'm not just meaning your normal cleaning. I mean kind of deep cleaning. The one that you do usually once a year. You wash your walls and all that. I used to do the deep clean, and I would do the things that they probably didn't even notice, but I did. I kind of still do that today, but because this home is new and we don't have a lot of stuff, it makes it easier to keep clean and tidy and clutter-free. So when my kids were little, I wasn't organized. I didn't really know how to be until I had more than one child. And then I really needed to be organized, because you have routines that the kids need to do. And when you have two children that are different ages, you have to make sure that you're organized so that their routines work for everyone in the family. And I had to juggle meetings, and I breastfed my children till they were over a year old, and so I had to take them everywhere with me. I just couldn't leave them at home with my husband, so I had to be organized, and it was great. It was a great learning thing for me. I like being organized. I'm probably a little bit OCD about being organized. I have to know when things need to be done, what's coming up, so I can be prepared. I'm not a person that give me 5 minutes and I'm good to go. It doesn't work for me. I don't like surprises. It really doesn't work. So having kids taught me to be organized. My home wasn't organized, but my routine, I would say, was organized. I was always neat and tidy. There was never a mess. I was fortunate to have a playroom off our lounge, so I could just close the curtains and you couldn't see the mess. Again, hidden mess. It wasn't until I started crafting and entered the world of scrapbooking that I really got into organising, because as a scrapbooker you have so many categories of things that you have that you need to be able to find things that you're looking for, and if you don't have things organised you spend so many hours looking for something that you need for a page and you can't find it. So I started organising better when I had, or I still do, I still have my craft room, when you have craft stuff, because we have so many things that we need. And of course, being the person that I am, I needed everything. I needed everything that was new on the market. Every time something new come out, I wanted it. Not so much now, because I have so much stash that I actually don't need to buy any embellishments, because I probably have enough to last me a lifetime plus some. So I learned to organise, and sorting for me is a stress release. It's when I'm feeling down and don't feel like doing anything, or I can't concentrate very well, I will sort. And I really enjoy the simple things and the boring things, which people just go, oh, no, I can't do that. That's just boring. But I really enjoy it. It's really comforting to me, and it makes me not think about what's going around in my head. Or if I'm feeling really down, I just go sort something and I feel like I've achieved something. I've done something that I'm not just sitting around feeling down. I'm actually achieving something, and it's great. And I still do it to this day. If I have, when you're in a funky mood and you really don't know what you want to do, I go and sort, because it makes me feel better, and like I said, I've achieved something. I have a lot of craft friends who, like me, have a very big stash of stuff for scrapbooking or mixed media or whatever they are into, and they get really overwhelmed with everything that they kind of have. And I've said to them, just take one box at a time or one drawer at a time and sort it. It can be really overwhelming. I know I've been very overwhelmed with my stuff in my craft room, especially when we moved in here and I had all these boxes of crafting stuff, and I'm going, where am I going to put this? How am I going to sort it? But I got there. I sorted it. It just does take time, but it's just one box at a time. And I feel that is the way to go when you're decluttering and you get overwhelmed, is, take a deep breath, set a goal for 30 minutes and just sort something. You've achieved something. I also have a really good eye for space. I actually helped a crafting friend last year. And she goes, Sandy, help me. She sent me a video of a craft room. And I was like, okay. Let's see what she wants to do here. And the first thing I noticed is she had too much in the room for the size of the room. And the second thing I asked her is, what do you want this room to be for you? Because she's a ultra new consultant, she does a lot of videoing, and she needs a desk where all of her tools are close by when she's showing techniques and new products for ultra new. So those were the two questions that I needed to ask, because this isn't my room, this is her room, and she needs it to be the way she needs it to be. So she was ecstatic that I had, said these need to go because you've got no floor space. There was nowhere to really walk. It was very cluttered, and I knew that we needed to move these pieces, and I was hoping with the furniture that she had that we could actually do it. And we were lucky enough that it all fitted, it all worked, and I used sticky notes to show her what drawers to put things in, and she can still change them around if it doesn't work. But we had the basic plan in place for her to work from there. And she goes, Sandy, that's amazing. You've made it easier for me. So I also did a mentoring course a couple of years ago with Jamie Coleman, and I was at a point in my life where I was angry at the world. I had no confidence. I was just in a really bad place, and I needed a break. So Jamie's mentoring program came to me at the right time, and I learned so much about myself, about letting go of the past, and just feeling more confident about myself. She was an amazing mentor. She really encouraged me to be myself, and I knew I wanted to do something. I wanted to work from home. And she said to me, Sandy, when you talk about decluttering and organising, your face lights up. Your face lights up. And I said, yeah, I really love it. I'm really good at it, and I have a really good eye, and it makes me happy. I'm really passionate about it, and I want to help other people feel not overwhelmed with the amount of things that they have in their home. So I started this journey 2 years ago. I had what would you call it? A hiatus for about 6 months, just to, try and figure out what I wanted to do. I took an online course and started that. And then I had to go back to work because the cost of living after COVID had just kind of skyrocketed. So I put all of this on the back burner, and it wasn't until last year that I broke my wrist, and I ended up having a lot of time at home. And again, Jamie contacted me and said, I want to do this thing. Do you want to join? And I went, of course I do. And it was really focusing on podcasting because I wanted to have another avenue for my viewers to see and hear what I had to say. So I have done what I've done in less than 4 months, and I've done it all on my own, even the really hard technical stuff. And it's been a very big learning curve for me, but I am really happy that I have done it, and I am still learning, but it is, I love it. It's great. So I now have a podcast, which I never thought I would ever have. It wasn't even in my thoughts 2 years ago. So now I'm building my business. I have my website up. I'm building up my clients, and I'm just sharing what I know with anyone that needs helping hand, because I know that it's a big thing now, is decluttering. It was never really talked about when I was growing up. Even as a young mum, it wasn't really talked about, but now it's a really big thing. And it's a great thing because we don't need a lot of materialistic stuff. We're too caught up in materialistic stuff these days, and we need to be more, talking to each other and having conversations and enjoying life, and not letting our materialistic things pull us down. So that is a little bit about me. So I hope you enjoyed that little bit of information about me. Until next time, take care and stay safe.